Well, good morning. Sorry, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for this webinar. My name is Chris Phillips and I'm the Business Development Manager for Global Service for Taylor Hobson. This is only the second time I've used this webinar, Teams webinar, so please bear with me. Well, it's safe to say that the economic impact of COVID-19 is undeniable. Businesses all across the world are learning how to adapt to the new circumstances, and we're all learning how to operate in this new normal, and everything's constantly changing around us. So during this webinar, we're going to update you on the service and support you can receive from Taylor Hobson globally. So many suppliers are concerned about their ability to support their global install base, but Taylor Hobson are pleased to have a very good global support network. We're a truly global company and we've got worldwide sales, service and technical support in all the regions on the map that you can see. 90% of our sales are through our direct offices, and 95% of our sales are outside of the UK. So while we still design, manufacture and assemble all of the instruments in the UK, 95 of them are actually shipped outside of the UK. So Taylor Hobson has offices in over 30 countries worldwide. And the main offices include USA, Japan, China, India, and then we've got France, Germany, Italy, Southeast Asia, Taiwan, etc. Other areas are covered by our channel partners, and that would be areas in Eastern Europe, such as Poland, Czech Republic, and Romania, Turkey, and then we covered Russia, Brazil, and even down to Australia and New Zealand. Taylor Hobson have an accredited service engineer program, and this program is a training program specifically for our service engineers to make sure they're accredited to carry out servicing on the instruments that we sell. So this is for metrology, basics and advanced. It's also the software, any new software that comes out, service best practice, and also specific instrument training modules. So only engineers certified by our ASE program are able to service our instruments. The program covers all Taylor Hobson engineers globally, and it also includes our channel partner engineers. So literally any engineer that comes to work on a system will be accredited by our ASE program. We also use global knowledge base sharing via our SharePoint, and we use EIM, which is Easy Information Management software package, and that allows us to perform remote diagnostics on instruments, and we also use TeamViewer for that. So regular training courses are scheduled throughout the year. During COVID-19, obviously the travel restrictions have made that difficult, but we've changed the way we work and we've been using webinars and knowledge sharing more. So we're always looking to improve the service that we provide, and recently our engineers have been trialling some new software called Helplining, and that offers augmented reality video support to both customers and engineers in the field. And when this comes online, the software will take our support to the next level. We also have priority spares, and we've got forecasting for critical and longer lead time components, which are stocked locally. So where we've got the need, we have a minimum balance and guaranteed stock, and that allows us to, if we need to, make a shipment of critical parts the same day, and if not, the following working day. Our gauge exchange program also allows us to provide immediate gauge replacement. So if there's an issue with a customer's gauge, maybe it's been crashed, instead of waiting for a repair, and we have fixed pricing and we have gauges on the shelf that we can ship, and that obviously makes our service better and your instrument downtime is minimized. So what does this mean for our customers? Well, it puts Taylor Hobson in a position where we can ship an instrument to any country in the world, and the effects of COVID-19 or any other pandemic that pose travel restrictions or lockdowns will be minimized. We've got the locally trained engineers, and they're able to install and continue to maintain instruments, and we can also provide spares locally. So while global travel is difficult, Taylor Hobson continue to support at full capacity. You can see from some of the quotes on the next slide that good customer service alone is no longer enough for customers. So for instance, when it comes to making a purchase, 64% of people find customer experience more important than price. After one negative experience, 51% of customers will never do business with that company again. And 72% of businesses say improving customer experience is their top priority. So Taylor Hobson's focus in 2020 is to be able to provide all of our customers a superior Taylor Hobson customer experience, rather than just offering good customer service. We have to take the quality of our products, our innovation and the culture of the company, along with great customer service and a high customer satisfaction in order to achieve this superior customer experience. So this, with our service team's continuous availability during the COVID crisis, gives us happy customers, and it helps us grow our business and helps us improve further. Many of you that have already got instruments from Taylor Hobson will have seen the service tag on this slide. All new instruments that leave the factory will have one attached, and they are added to instruments in the field by service engineers as they come across them. So the service tag's got all the local contact details on. This one's showing the UK contact details, but the local contact details, including the repairs, service and repairs hotline and technical support email, will be listed. There's also a serial number on there, and the serial number is linked to your instrument specifically. And finally, we have calibration dials for when the instrument was last calibrated and when the instrument is next due. Your instrument still needs AmiCare, it still needs to be supported through this tough time, and we can continue to support that as your manufacturing increases. So all of the instrument details are stored against the service tag serial number within our EIM software, which is our global database. Details such as column, serial numbers and heights, arm lengths, traverse lengths and serial numbers, different gauge types, which software you're using, which operating system you've got on your PC, is all logged within the database. And what this means is that any of our engineers can access the latest instrument information for your instrument at any time, anywhere in the world. And they can use the software on their mobiles, tablets or laptops, and all of the information is available just from the single serial number. So our technical support team can also pull up the instrument information just using the tag number, and that allows us to answer or respond to a query quicker, because we don't have to ask any initial questions. What's your instrument? What column is it? What gauge are you using? We've already got that information to hand just from the database. A few years ago, we released an AmiCare brochure, and that's updated regularly. The brochure contains information surrounding our global service offering, and it includes various topics such as AmiCare service agreements, which there are different levels of maintenance agreements offering annual service and calibration with preventative maintenance, and added benefits such as discounts from spare parts, upgrades, training, seminars, etc. And there are also high-level agreements that include labour for any repairs that are necessary, and also spares. The brochure also includes information on Styli and our gauge exchange programme. It includes software modules that will enable you to increase the capabilities of your instruments by adding modules to Ultra software, adding TaliMap, TaliMap Contour, or Aspherics Analysis Utility, or QLink. So all the information's there for you to read and help you. There's also a full list of instrument upgrades, and that includes all of our latest Windows 10 updates, and these upgrades detail the features and benefits for each upgrade, which will help you justify the upgrade to your management team. And finally, it includes information on training, measurement services and UCAS calibration. Training can be carried out at your site, anywhere in the world. It can be carried out at any of our sites from the list shown in the map on the previous slides. And this can cover basic metrology for roundness surface or advanced. It can be for instrument operation. It can be programming. There's lots of different training courses available off the shelf, but if that's not right for you, we can offer bespoke training courses which would suit your workforce and your instruments. So our UCAS lab offers contract measurement services. So that could be for one-off measurements, for production overruns, or we could just supply an unbiased report if you have an issue with a supplier. It gives an authoritative, unbiased report on the item. Or you might just want accreditation on your calibration artifact for your instruments. All of the accreditation uncertainties are listed and the capabilities of the lab. So the brochure is available in English, and that's for languages in, that's for UK, USA and India, and it's translated into languages for Japan, France, Germany and Italian at the minute. And if you want to get a copy, then you can download it from the website, and I think it will also be, there'll be a link in the Q&A area on this webinar. The AmiCare brochure also has our instrument support policy, And this covers the support that we can offer depending on which phase of the support cycle your instrument is currently sitting. There's 4 stages. They include a production phase, a discontinued phase, an obsolete phase, and a retirement phase. With production and discontinue phases, we offer full support on the instruments, and that includes upgrades, software, hardware, spare parts, technical support, etc. If we move to an instrument moves to the obsolete phase, we then move to a limited support, and in the retirement phase we can only offer calibration support. So while it's working, we can still calibrate it. Instruments in the retirement phase are normally instruments well over 20 years old. Spares have generally become unavailable due to obsolescence and that sort of thing. So at that point, we would advise that when your instrument gets to the obsolete or even at the latest, the retirement phase, that you start to plan and put budgets in place for replacement of the instrument to the latest model. The full list of instruments, which details which phase the instruments are in, and also it shows whether there's an upgrade available for that instrument. We were previously speaking about upgrades, and Windows 7 is now end of life. So from the 14th of January this year, Microsoft withdrew support of Windows 7 with no updates and no security patches available. So you might need to upgrade your instrument if it's running Windows 7 or even some running Windows XP still, and move to Windows 10. It could be company policy. We've had a lot of enquiries for this reason, where the company's decided that they can't have any PCs running Windows 7, especially where it's connected to a company network. It leaves the whole network open to hacking, ransomware and different viruses because there's no security support on it. So what we've done is we've developed Windows 10 upgrades for our instrument range, and they have the benefit of a new PC which is Windows 10 based, so it's got a secure operating system. We also provide the latest instrument software, and you will also get continued support for the product from Taylor Hobson. In the most part, operators won't need any extra training, and they won't find it hard to adjust to any minor changes that any of these upgrades bring. So if you do need any more information on Windows 7 upgrades to Windows 10, please speak to your local service team. The information should be on the service tag, and all you'll need to do is give the service team the serial number, and we'll have all the information that we require to be able to quote you for the upgrade. Lastly, we've also released an accessories brochure. This was first released in 2019, and again this is upgraded and updated regularly as new products are released. The brochure contains all of the accessories and all of the styli that are available for every instrument in the range. The brochure has pictures and drawings and part numbers to enable you to decide what capability you want to expand to. So it may be a new stylus of a specific to get into a specific component, or it could be that you want to expand the capability by adding a rotary stage or a Y stage on your form tally surf to enable you to do 3D work. All the specifications and the dimensions are listed. If you have got any questions about adding and upgrading your system, then the technical support team are available to help out with specific enquiries. Again, if you can give them the tag number from the instruments, that will give them all the information to be able to give you the right information and the right parts for your system. This brochure is also available to download from the website, and I think there may be a link in the webinar. So that's all I have for now. We will be running further webinars to cover different areas of service in more detail later on. If you do have any questions, then you are welcome to ask them via the Q&A session, and we'll try and answer them where we can. So okay, so I can't see any, is there any questions? Okay, yeah, we've got some questions. So one question is from, okay, yeah, so it says, what support can you offer in the ASEAN region? Well, we've got 2 offices in that region, one in Singapore and one in Thailand, and they've got 3 accredited service engineers based out of them. Thailand covers the Philippines, Vietnam and Indonesia, and Malaysia is covered by our Singapore office, and they also cover Australia and New Zealand because they're down that way. So I hope that answers that. And another question we've got is, if an instrument is shipped from the UK to our site in Japan, how does COVID-19 affect travel of your service engineer to install it? Well, as we've got over 75 accredited engineers globally, we've got the right engineers in the right places locally, so we don't need to send an engineer from the UK at all. They can just be sent directly from the local area. So travel restrictions, lockdowns and that sort of thing aren't going to affect any installation times at all. Just see if there's any more questions. Okay, so we've got one more question. Do we have any plans for remote instrument training? That's something that we've not looked into at the minute, but with the new software coming online, the Help Lightning, that should be a possibility in the future for us to do that. We could do remote software training, but actual hands-on instrument training becomes more difficult. So that's something that we can do. I think really the main takeaway from this webinar is that for our global service team, it's business as usual. Don't think there's any more questions. So if
can you hear me? There's a questions like, do you offer any discount of spares to Amicare customers?
Okay, yeah, sorry, I can't, for some reason I can't see the Q&A, so thanks, Alice. Yes, if you have an Amicare agreement, all of them come with discounts on spare parts as standard. Obviously, if you move up to one of the higher level agreements, then we can also include labour for repairs and also spare parts on the elite agreements. I will, as I said, I will be doing a webinar specifically on Amicare in the next few weeks. So if they want to watch that webinar as well, they'll hopefully find out a little bit more about our Amicare product. Is there any more, Alice?
Yes, we got more questions. I don't know if they can hear me. So another question is, you said that placement units were available to be shipped for exchange to keep operations running. my experience is my non-functioning units needs to be returned first. How does this fit with your statement?
Okay, so generally we have the items available on the shelf. If for whatever reason there's not an exchange available, we will have to request that the item is sent back for repair. Generally, when it comes to gauges, we can turn them round within a few days of getting them back. So although they're not always available on the shelf, this is what we strive for. But if it's not available, then unfortunately we do have to ask for the gauge to be sent back to be repaired. With styli, if they're not off the shelf, this is for a new purchase. If you wanted to buy a stylus, some of them are off the shelf. Some of them, the more special ones, they're not off the shelf, and there is a certain lead time with them. But we try and stock dependent on what's most purchased.
Oh yeah, Chris, we got more questions.
Okay.
So there's a question about how do we get uniformity with new units compared to the old unit model. For example, like Sotronic 128 don't agree with 3+ unit. So is it
sorry,
like,
sorry, what was that?
I think the question is about the new units compared to the old units model. So if they have a old Sotronic 3+, and then they got a new Sotronic 100 series, how can they like compare those two together, because they're just not the same?
Okay, there shouldn't be that much difference, but differences do occur occasionally down to specifically the stylus or the pickup. We have to make sure that it's got the same tip radius, for instance, and the same skid. If there is a specific issue that needs to be looked at, though, this needs then obviously we can look at that. It might need to go through the help desk rather than trying to find out what's wrong with it via this webinar.
Okay, and the next question is there any multi-buy offers for buying stylus?
Yes, for the standard stylus, we've reduced the prices down so that they're relatively low in comparison to previous prices. But if there's an advanced stylus or a special stylus, because we don't make as many of them, they tend to be more expensive. So if the customer orders one stylus, they can order any amount more of the same stylus and then only pay full price for the first stylus, and they pay half the price for every other stylus that they buy after that. So if they bought 4 styli of the same type, the first one is full price and the next 3 are half price. And that's because when they're going through the manufacturing process, it's a lot easier for us to make 4 styli in one go than it is to make just the one or a one-off.
Okay, thanks. I've got more questions coming through.
Okay.
So the next one will be exchanges were available but would not be shipped until my non-working units were received back to Amatec. So what they
okay. Yeah, in some territories, if they've not got local stock, then that's the case. What we're doing is moving away from this with the exchange program. So the customer will be able to get the new item before the old gauge is sent back. So that's something that we've improved on, because we're moving away from requiring the old item back. Generally, the gauges are high price items, and if in the past quite a few of them have not come back if we've sent a gauge out, so that made it difficult. But we've changed the process now, so if anybody needs a replacement gauge, they'll get that up front to replace the damaged one, and then the damaged one can be sent back as and when, but we still do need them back.
Okay, I think we got another question is, our instrument warranty is expiring soon. Do you offer extended warranty on chargeable basis?
Yes, we do. That would be our Amicare Elite agreement. So that's like an extended warranty. So that would be after the first year, you would purchase the Amicare Elite. That would give you a service and calibration, preventative maintenance after the first year, and then you would get parts and labour for any breakdowns due to fair wear and tear, not gauge collision or stylus damage or that sort of thing. But if the computer breaks down or there's a software issue or a PCB breaks down, then that will be covered by labour, and the spares will be provided as well.
Okay, thanks. There's no more questions, I think. Thank you, Chris. Okay,
thank you. Okay, thank you everybody. If anybody's got any more questions, feel free to fire them over to me, Chris Phillips, or you can put them via your local service teams or directly into the help desk. Okay, so we'll end the webinar now, and thanks for listening.